The police are called to investigate the death of a woman during a riot in the walled city of Delhi. She was killed by a stone thrown by an agitated mob. The deceased woman is known in the community as Sardari Begum, a popular singer and tawaif. The religious nature of the incident and the impending elections combined to attract the media's attention. When a young reporter covering the funeral, Tahzeeb Abbasi, discovers her father among the mourners, her curiosity prompts her to investigate further. Then comes the revelation that the singer was in fact her aunt, who was disowned by her family for rebelliously learning music from a concubine. Udharan. The reporter Tahzeeb finds the life of her aunt intriguing and exciting, having an opinion that is totally opposite to her father Jabbar, the brother of the late Sardari Begum. Although he loved and cared for her, he didn't support her ideals, her freedom, her passion for singing. At Tahzeeb's residence, Jabbar tells his daughter about the stubbornness of his elder sister, yet also confessing his love for her as she was his only sister. The film goes into flashback where Sardari refuses to take money back she had given to Jabbar for Tahzeeb's education. Jabbar wants to return the money as he thinks it was a debt, while Sardari regards it as a gift for Tahzeeb. The argument ends with Jabbar leaving Sardari's home, swearing never to come back again. He also narrates how the younger Sardari turned rebellious in order to pursue her passion for singing when it was not approved by her father. Having inspired by her story, Tahzeeb decides to dig deeper in her late aunt's life. She decides to write a long article in her memory in the newspaper she works, but her editor doesn't not approve. It is revealed that Tahzeeb is in a relationship with her editor boss, who is happily married with 2 kids. Tahzeeb continues her journey interviewing every person who was related to her aunt or knew her closely. However, Sardari's daughter Sakina does not oblige Tahzeeb's request and ignores her. Tahzeeb finds out about the fateful night when Sardari ran away from home in Agra. She went to Itanbai, who refuses to give her shelter and asks her to go home. Sardari then makes her way at Hemraj's Amrish Puri house. Hemraj is a zamindar who leads a colorful life. Although he is married, he keeps attending gatherings led by courtesans primarily at Itanbai, where Sardari used to perform. Hemraj felt attracted towards Sardari, which is why Sardari approaches him and asks for shelter. Hemraj takes Sardari in his house and holds gatherings for her so she can continue her singing. Hemraj's wife dislikes her totally and does not like her closeness with her husband. Meanwhile, Fateh Khan, who plays sitar and other musical instruments at Itanbai's court, was highly impressed with Sardari's talent. After he leaves Iqbal Bai, he continues to support Sardari Begum in her future concerts at Hemraj's house and later in Delhi. Meanwhile, Sadak Muswi, a friend of Hemraj and a regular attendee at his gatherings, is immensely attracted to Sardari. Initially, Sardari does not react to his feelings, but slowly, when she realizes that Hemraj only lusts for her and does not respect her singing talent, also not want her to grow as an artist, she starts to fall for Sadak. Sadak convinces Sardari to come with him to Delhi so that her voice can be popular and she would become famous. Sadak also learns that Sardari is pregnant with Hemraj's child, however he has no obligations to accept both. Sardari and Sadak comes to Delhi and marry in a private ceremony. Sadak takes Sardari to a record label company where the company's director Mr. Sen falls for Sardari's voice and gets mesmerized by her charm and beauty. From there, Sardari becomes immensely popular as the Thumri artist singer known for her passionate voice and singing. For 8 years, she reigns supreme and at the top of her game. Meanwhile, she gives birth to her daughter Sakina. After few years, Differences start to crop up between Sardari and Sadak. While Sardari slowly loses interest in regular singing and recordings, Sadak uses her money for his own purposes. One day, when one of Sardari's recording gets cancelled, Mr. Sen feels disappointed at Sardari's unprofessionalism. Sadak tries to reason with him and invites him to his home to have a talk with his wife. At home, Sardari and Sadak gets into a major argument and Sardari throws Sadak out of the house. She feels cheated by her husband as he exploited her talent, passion and money for his own investments and purposes and was never cared for her otherwise. Mr. Sen, who comes to the house witnessing the drama and feels sorry for Sadak. However, he felt Sadak was never the right person for Sardari. Mr. Sen was also in love with Sardari. At one visit he asks her to sing some ghazals and ultimately proposes her for marriage. Sardari considers Mr. Sen a nice man, but she does not feel eligible to remarry. She also feels that her passion for music is above all and she can't sacrifice it for anything. Mr. Sen accepts all her conditions but gets reluctant to accept Sakina as his own daughter. Sardari rejects the proposal as she can't be detached with her daughter. Mr. Sen later repents for not accepting Sakina. At the same time, Sardari Begum's popularity goes down as a singer and she stops performing for record labels and singing functions. The situation comes to a point where Sardari has to make money through arranging marriages of unknown couples to run her household. Tahazib finally approaches Sakina for her interview but she rejects her request on seeing her. Dejected, Tahazib narrates her story. She tells Sakina that she and her father are no longer on talking terms. She is in love with a married man and her father will never accept him. Also, he refuses to believe that he would sacrifice his married life for her. Moved by this, Sakina narrates her part. She tells that Sardari Begum was not the woman which people knew. For them she was an artist. A glorious artist. The famous Thumri singer, but as the real Sardari she was limited as a woman. She never allowed Sakina to pursue education or chat with men. She was not allowed to call Sardari as Amma, mom, as it would hide her age. Sakina calls her Apabi, elder sister. Sardari forced her talent and musical knowledge in establishing Sakina as the next Sardari, which clearly Sakina was not meant to be. No one ever bothered about Sakina's hopes and ambitions. Sakina narrates an incident where Tahzib's father visits them and storms out of the house after an argument with Sardari. Enraged by this, Sakina calls out Sardari as an arrogant and selfish woman. After the incident, Sakina stops talking to her and even stops her singing. Now the film comes to the present where Sardari is practicing her singing when she hears a ruckus and goes out to witness, and suddenly a stone thrown from the agitated mob hits her hard. Sardari calls out Sakina, who is devastated to see her mother dying. Sardari asks Sakina if she was a good mother to her, to which Sakina replies positively. Sardari then asks Sakina to sing one last time for her, to which Sakina obliges. Sardari then dies. Inspired by her aunt's story, Tahazib sends the article to a different newspaper for publishing, which she reports to her lover. Editor. She also breaks ties with him and reunites with her father. At the end, Sardari's daughter Sakina is seen practicing singing, thus signifying that she would continue to live with mother's legacy as a great singer.